Hello Internet people. I just finished making this Perler Bead project of Bowser. This is Bowser from Partners in Time DS game. I want to personally thank Boo Mansion. He said to give credit, so I'm giving credit right now, for making the sprite sheet of this Bowser. And I ended up making this one. I made a grid over in Photoshop, so I'd put this picture in Photoshop and manually made a grid to get all the pixels right and make sure that I put the beads in the right spot. For Perler beads, they have a lot of colors, and I mentioned this in another video, but they don't have every color in the world, so I had to take some liberties with this one, but I really like how it turned out so far. So next step, I have to iron it, and like with my other ones, I'm going to glue it onto a canvas. So I'm going to start to do that now. And I'm back. So the next part of this project, as I've done in others, is to take some Scotch tape and I'm going to tape up the entire surface of this project. In the past, I used to just iron these perler beads right on the pegboards, these plastic things, but it didn't always turn out well. Sometimes the things would get warped or they'd just move around and they wouldn't be secured all that great, all the beads. So I tape now. I saw someone else do this on YouTube. It's been working pretty well for me, so I'm going to continue to do that. So I'm going to fast forward and show you my process of doing that. I like to just kind of stack it up and line all this tape like this, but I'm going to get to work now. Alright, so I'm actually going to slow it down here. I want to show you something. I made a mistake, and I kind of wiggled around with the tape, and it pulled up all these beads. So now it's kind of hard to see. Let me move this, have it on a tripod. But there's some beads that fell out there. So, you know, perler beads, they aren't for everybody. You know, you really have to have a lot of patience to do this sort of stuff, and you got to be able to go back into stuff if you make a mistake. I am actually going to have to probably pause this video and go back to my computer to make sure that I'm putting all the beads back in the right spot. But that's okay. So my good friend Bowser is all taped up now. The next step is to grab another one of these foam boards, like the one that I have underneath Bowser, and place it on top. And I'm going to make a Bowser sandwich right now, a foam board Bowser sandwich, and I'm going to flip it over on its back. The reason being is I need the tape side of the Bowser Perler Bead project to be on its back, so I can iron and fuse all the beads together on the other side. So this part's usually kind of scary because sometimes the beads might fall out when I flip them. I usually have to go kind of quick. So it's kind of like ripping off a band-aid that has a lot of hair on it, so you just want to get it over with. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I didn't hear any beads falling, so I think I'm in good shape. Let's take a look. Yeah. Okay, it turned out good. So I'm gonna. Ooh, spoke too soon. That's not too bad though. I'm gonna be very careful to make sure that these beads don't fall off. Maybe I'll press on this tape a little bit more to make sure that's secure. Yeah, careful. Okay, I think, oh, there's a little bit of mess up, that's okay. And one last one. Okay, and we're good. So, most of the Bowser came out pretty good, but as you can see here, there are a few beads that kind of fell off. This is actually the most trouble I've had with the taping method thus far. I'm going to have to realize what I did. I think I didn't press down hard enough on these perler beads to make sure they were secure to the tape. So lesson learned. So I'm going to fix those, and I'll turn the camera back on when I'm ready for ironing. Alright, so I have my parchment paper, which I just bought at the grocery store. I'm going to place that over this project right now. Hopefully nothing else goes wrong, no other beads get kicked up and I have to place them back. But I have my iron all preset and ready to go, so I'm going to start ironing kind of slowly at first. making sure that none of the beads get kicked up again. I'm kind of ready to not have that happen again. It won't. It won't. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So again, the thing with ironing is you want to make sure that all the perler beads slightly melt and fuse together. Biggest thing is you want to make sure that you get the edges pretty well, because sometimes the edges like to fall off, little pieces come off. And the middle especially, the very middle of the project. So you got to make sure that this whole thing gets heated up and you don't leave anybody out. It's a little boring to watch, I know, so I'm going to keep fast forwarding and show you the end result when I'm done. Okay, so I'm looking around right now, and it looks like all the holes are pretty much filled, because usually the beads, they have these little holes in them, and if they start to go away and you don't really see them, that's how you know these perler beads are pretty much melted. I have said in the past that if you take off this parchment paper too early when this thing is still hot, because it's pretty hot right now, and you take this off, the perler beads and the whole project start to curl, just because of how like the heat expands and extracts and all that science stuff. They don't really know what I'm talking about. So I'm actually going to sandwich this again and flip it over, so that way the side that curls against something, so that way it doesn't curl as much, because otherwise it's going to curl up like this. If it doesn't make sense, sorry, but basically I'm just going to do this. Also, I'm going to take my iron off of my rug, so that way it doesn't burn a hole through the rug. Okay, so there we go. Now I have my tape side still, so I'm going to let this cool for a little bit. I don't want to burn myself, and also I don't want this to curl like I said before, so I'll be back again. Okay, so now I'm going to start to peel off the tape. Again, hopefully none of my perler beads come off when I do this. So far so good. After this, I am going to glue my Bowser project onto this canvas board that I made, or not made, but I painted. And it kind of made it like yellow in the center with some orange and then red going out, kind of like a gradient, kind of almost like a fireball or explosion. So that is going to get glued on. Okay, so everything stayed together. I am very happy with that. Nothing came off with this huge chunk of tape that I took off of Bowser. So I pretty much have a finished project now. Like I said before, all I really need to do is put glue on the back and then put it right on here. Yeah, about there. Yeah. And that is going to finish my Bowser project. If you have any questions, please leave them below in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And I'll see you for my next project. Thanks for watching.